Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, this will be our final meeting because after this there will be the exam period starting from next week. But today the the scheduled session is for your presentation. Actually, I've uploaded all of the presentation, all three presentation on YouTube and also at the MAS platform. Initially, I planned to do the presentation outside uh, of the session, and then we jump straight to the Q&A session. However, I noticed in the YouTube few statistics. I don't think there's enough. I think not many of you have watched the videos, so I decided we will uh, we will view the presentation in the classroom, and I will ask for the other group to prepare at least one question. So for the first the presentation of group one, group two, and group three will prepare one question for group one. For the presentation of group two, group one and group three will present at least one question, and so forth. And then similarly with group three. So I will play the recording, and I expect you to pay attention to the recording and then prepare one question for the presenter. Okay? Is there any question? I will also ask question and also give my feedback at the end of the Q&A session for each group. Okay, I will start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll play the.
Hey, sir and friends. My name is Ashila, and today we're from Group 1. We're going to present about our research proposal, Effects of Social Influence towards Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Indonesia, batch 2017 and 18, mentioning students' job-seeking motivations. Our group consists of Kala Salsabila, Hairina Busyarni, Hanif Permana, Daryl Ali Ahmad, and me, Ashila Yanda Putri. Nowadays, for university students, the concept of adulting begins with finding work. Even prior from graduating university, the majority of students have started to look for employment. But inside the college environment, we could also see many students develop anxiety to have become more successful as soon as possible due to the social pressure and expectation from their environment. Looking at social media posts of their friends' achievements and exciting lives makes them feel like they should be doing more in their own life. So we want to know that how the social influence affect the students' job seeking motivation. Here are some theories that we're going to use for this research. The first one is about social influence, social comparisons, and signaling. Social comparison was first proposed by Festinger as the tendency to evaluate one's opinions and abilities using other group members as references. And according to research, respondents indicated that job seekers worried a great deal about getting into a specific organization, or maybe in this case, company, for fears such as what others will say about me. Job seekers also, according to respondents, sought coveted organizations because of its glamour. The next theory is expectancy value theory, because we believe that expectancy is included in social influence. EBT is a cognitive motivational theory that relates an individual's level or strength of motivations to strive for a certain goal to the product of expectation to attain the desired goal and the incentive value or balance of that particular goal. Different researchers have developed slightly different expectancy value models, but the present formulation of the model is based upon the work further from his college, because they apply the theory of unemployment to meet in previous research. And the next theory is about social media as social influence. As mentioned before, recently researchers have posited that the unique features of social media environment may produce a particularly powerful context for adolescent peer influence. In terms of socialization processes, the features of social media may amplify the speed, volume, and scale with which peer influence effects can occur. Research and theory regarding mechanisms of peer influence propose that adolescents may engage in behaviors to match the social norms of valued and desired groups, to receive social rewards in the peer hierarchy, and to foster positive self-identify.
Okay, next. My name is Kyla and I will continue to explain about our literature review. So the next one is social pressure. So based on the study of Kulkarni and Nityanet, social pressure refers to two main things. The first one is pressure from their families or family influence, and the second is peer influence, or the second reason is to prove their worth to their peer groups because of peer pressure. And peer pressure itself is the influences and pressures that adolescents feel from their peers. So job-seeking motivation. The motivation itself is a person's active participation and commitment to achieve with the prescribed results. Based on Gatewood et al., job choice itself is a series of decisions that an applicant makes, starting with the applicant's evaluation of information obtained from various sources that leads to employment, pursuing decisions with specific organizations. And job seeking itself is a dynamic decision process. So there's two processes within job seeking. The first one is to evaluate the information obtained from the recruitment sources, and the second one is to actually use the information obtained, whether or not to pursue a certain employment. Motivation is very crucial to job seeking process because it's what drives someone to fulfill their goals. Job seeking motivation derives from a wide range of personal and also social factors, such as the financial compensation or salary. Second is the recognition by people or the prestige of the job. And the third one is satisfaction from personal achievements. And this is a very important note that university students rely on informational social influences such as word-of-mouth communication from credible, strong ties. For example, friends and family when making their job-seeking decisions. Next is about the job seeker behavior. The most important thing here is that job search behavior refers to identifying the existence of job opportunities and also gathering more detailed information on selected job alternatives. So job seeker behavior can also determine whether or not someone is actively looking for a job or not. Next is still relating to job seekers' behavior is someone's self-esteem. So self-esteem, someone that portrays a higher level of self-esteem, suggests that an individual is more likely to persist at individual tasks that he or she considers important, such as job seeking itself.
Okay, thank you. Next, I will explain about our theoretical framework. So here's the graph that show our research model. So let me explain about the graph first. So first we have the social influence, which consists of background, which also consists about with two smaller variable, which is the family and friend circle. Also, the second variable is the social media, and the third one is the external expectation. And these three variables will make the social influence variable. And also, social influence also will affect pressure, which this pressure also affected by the personal behavior, which this pressure that have been expected by another variable before will influence the job seeking motivation. This become our research objective to see how much this variable will affect the job seeking motivation of our respondent. And next, I also will explain about the third part, which is our research methodology. So first, regarding the research design. So regarding the research design, because we want to find out the impact of social environment towards certain population behavior. So our research design will be descriptive study type of research design, because we want to share the descriptive perception of our findings in our research, and also the usage of qualitative approach in our research has several advantages, which is that qualitative approach has more open-ended result, and therefore qualitative research in business research is usually used to study consumer behavior due to its capabilities to capture the target group's attitude and change, which is also aligned with our objective, because we want to see how much social influence can affect people behavior and attitude. And next, which is data collection method. So our data collection method divided into two methods. First is the primary data collection, and the second one is the secondary data collection. So first, regarding primary data collection. So primary data collection, which is data that we collected first hand. We will obtain it through interview. So this interview will be conducted through online conference such as Google Meets, and it also will be directed towards overall FRBUI college in order to questioning them about the topic, which is the job seeking motivation before. And also regarding the data for secondary data collection, we will obtain the secondary data from the journal, internet, and other research in various other sources in order to complete our various parts such as the literature review and the hypothesis. And next, regarding the sampling method, so in this qualitative study, the method that we use to gather data, we plan to asking our fellow students in FEBW, like I already said before, regarding the primary data collection, and we aim to on searching the influence that affect the college and the social life, and also the respondent will consist of random FEBUI students regardless of their year and age. Also, meanwhile, for the sampling technique, we plan to use convenience sampling. This convenience sampling is the technique in sampling, in qualitative sampling technique for use participant that more easily accessible rather than purposely targeted but harder to be recruited. This because our limitation, and therefore it's easier for us to contacting our friend and also asking our friend. Also because due to our research nature, because we may asking some deep question that may be popping their personal life. So therefore, for this kind of question, maybe it's because we asking our friend, maybe they will be more open to give us information regarding something that might be too personal if we ask someone that is a stranger to us.
My name is Khaireen Augusfiarni, and I will be presenting about establishing trustworthiness in a research paper. The first one is reliability. Reliability is an area for which qualitative research is sometimes criticized. To increase dependability or so-called reliability in quantitative research, the researchers provided an audit trail by describing in detail how data was collected, how categories were derived, and how divisions were made throughout the inquiry. To increase confirmability or known as objectivity in quantitative studies, the researchers attempted to control for bias by constantly comparing data, searching the literature for examples of the phenomenon, obtaining multiple viewpoints, searching for negative instances of the phenomenon, and checking or rechecking the data. And the third one is to ensure trustworthiness regarding credibility of the qualitative research. Only participants can judge the credibility of the results of research. In order to do this, we will be triangulating data. Triangulation is a strategy or task used to improve the validity and reliability of research. Triangulation of data is of critical importance to the trustworthiness of the qualitative studies. In this case, we will apply at least 3 types of triangulation. The first type is source triangulation, when we collect data or information from various sources to minimize and understand the differences or prejudice between people in various roles. The second one is the investigator triangulation, where the researchers use the expert or the researcher to interpret the data. And the third one, we will use peer reports to strictly review and evaluate research design, data collection, and data analysis by qualified external researchers. This research will also apply external validity to ensure that the result can be generalized or transferred to other contexts or environment. In this case, we will use detailed descriptions by giving readers enough detailed information so that they can decide for themselves whether a research is transferable. And here are the research protocols for our research. The first one is introduction, where the questions such as age, gender, place of birth, area of domicile, major, professional experiences, and job aim after graduating. Second category is social influence, where the questions is, can you tell us a little bit about your family background? How do you describe your social life in regards to the type of circle of friends you have? Do you feel like there are expectations bestowed upon you of any kind from your family or friends? What kind and how do you deal with them? And the last one is during COVID, we realized a surge in students doing internships and posting it on social media. Does that affect you in any way? The third category is job seeking, where the first question is, why do you want to work as, referring to introduction 7? What are your long-term career goals? How did you first know about that job or industry? And the last one is, how do you see your goal of introduction 7 relate to your long-term career goal? And the last category is personal behavior. The question is, how would you describe people's perceptions towards you, and do you consider them important? And the second one is, how do you perceive yourself, and how would you describe your self-esteem level? The third one is, do you apply for jobs that seems coveted, even if you have not heard of the recruiting companies? And the last question of our research protocols is, how would you describe your personality, and how does it correlate with your long-term career goal?
Okay, so going into the fourth chapter, we are going to explain you how we analyze the data. And so first of all, we create a coding guide in which we group some of the important factors, variables that we want to see, and so we coded it up exactly with codes on the right. And so we group family background, friend circle. That friend circle is there's closer with campus friends, closer with non-campus friends, and friend topics in which they most often speak on career topic and non-career topic. And then family influence, there is friend circle influence, social influence, perceived expectation influence, pressure, and then there's a behavior, in which inside behavior we grouped it into two more, easily influenced and uneasily influenced, and job seeking, and then job seeking group in which inside is actively looking, and the second one is looking. And in each of these group, we have given the meaning of each variable, in which family background indicates subject and conditions, friend circles indicate subjects, current circle of friends, in which closer with campus friends means that subject is currently closest to campus friend circle relative to non-campus friends, and the other code is the other way around, and so on until the final code. And CNC, and so on. So after we've established the codes and put them into the transcript, we counted those codes in each of the sample, which is Alice, Prisca, Leandra, and Honey, and counted them for each code, and the total is the N on the right of the table. And so FB, family behavior is repeat 4 times. In terms of friend circle, closer to campus friends would be 3 times, and closer to non-campus friends 3 once. And in terms of friend topics, career topics, most oftenly speaking of career topics is mentioned 4 times, and non-career topics is mentioned 0 times, indicating that currently students are actually very, very interested in their career, and so on, as we can see. And after we analyze and after we have inputted the codes into the transcript and counted them, we then try to illustrate it with our composite sequence analysis, which this analysis allows us to illustrate how our sample, or the students of FFA batch 2018-2017, go through the social influences until affecting their motivation in job seeking. And so we classified social influence into 3 categories, or 3 types, in which there is triple influence, double influence, and single influence. Which triple influence means that they are influenced by family, circle of friends, and social media, so all 3. Double influence meaning that they only get influenced by 2 of 3 factors, and single influence by only 1 of the factors. And then we have 3 in the triple, 3 sample in triple influence, 1 sample in double influence, and 0 sample in the single influence. And so out of the 3 in the triple influence, 2 of them are easily influenced, in which we go to the next funnel, the personal behavior funnel. 2 out of the sample in the triple influence are easily influenced, and 1 of them is uneasily influenced by other people. And from the double influence, sample was also uneasily influenced. And easily influenced means that they are easily influenced by other people's perception towards them, other people's expectations, and their perceived expectations of other people towards them. And uneasily influenced is the counterpart of. And so we move on to the next funnel, in which there is pressure, and we can see that there are 2 samples from the easily influenced stage, which go on to feel pressure, and 1 of the uneasily influenced goes also to the felt pressure funnel, and the other sample from uneasily influenced went on to the didn't feel pressure. And feeling pressure is means that the sample felt pressure to get internship ASAP, as soon as possible, after taking social influences. And this is particularly unique from the uneasily influenced one, since it turns out that personal behavior doesn't guarantee 100% of the part of social influence with pressure, in which personal behavior is our moderating variable here. And so it turns out that uneasily influenced people can also get pressure, indicating that social influence has a big is a big factor of determining pressure, and only 1 or 2 uneasily influenced person didn't feel pressure out of their social influence. And so in the final funnel, the job seeking motivation part, out of the 3 who felt pressure, only 2 was motivated to do extra things to look for internship, and one out of the 3 in the felt pressure, 1 was unaffected, and they did not gain extra motivation to look for internships. And that is also the case from the one who didn't feel pressure. And so to conclude, there are 3 reasons. The first one is that Malaysian students who are 2017 tend to feel career pressure because of social influences. Second is that there are signs of strong causation of social influence was peer pressure, as seen on the cognitive analysis. And lastly, there's potential causation between career pressure and job seeking motivation, however unclear. And this is because this is unclear because the sample size of our research are really poor people, and we don't think that there is a small sample size. And if the sample size was bigger, I think we can more clearly see a pattern of the journey from social influences into job motivation analysis. With only even with only three four pattern in which social influence is the high determining factor for career pressure. And so that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening. We hope to get questions from the audience and inputs regarding our research. Thank you.
Okay, that is the presentation of group one. Okay, we already have one question from group two from Fatoni. Group one, are you listening?
Yes, sir. Hi.
So Fatoni from group two asked, one of the respondents influenced by non-campus friend. From this research, is it possible to say that student batch year 17 and 2018 outside management UI also feel career pressure because of social influences? Okay.
Okay. Maybe we couldn't say for sure that students outside of management UI also feel career pressure because of social influences, because our research was only conducted for samples in management UI. And so that means that in regards of transferability, we have provided a case protocol and the context in our research. And if we were to say that other students outside of management UI was affected by social influence in their career pressure, I think we should do another research, and we can't just say it without conducting any research. But I think that is likely because we saw a pattern, and I think this social influence was not in our research. It was not based on the factors were not because of them being UI students, but it was because of their circle of friends, because of social media, and in which those things also applies to students in general, in which mostly everyone uses social media such as LinkedIn right now. So yeah, that is our answer.
Okay, thank you. Fatoni, do you have okay?
No.
Okay. The next question is from Dias from group 3. He'd like to ask a question. In your conclusion, you say that there may be potential causation between social influence and job-seeking motivation. However, I am curious, does social influence also influence other aspects of job-seeking? For example, the performance of their job search or them being accepted to their dream job because they discuss career more with their peer. Okay.
Okay, so maybe any of my group members want to answer?
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kyla, and I will try to answer Diaz discuss a question about our research. So in our personal opinion, because again, this research focuses mainly on job-seeking motivation and the effect that social influence has on it. So if you're talking about job-seeking, job search performance, and also whether or not they get accepted to their dream job because of social influence, we cannot tell you, the exact data, and also because our research is based on that. But job seeking motivation does relate to the performance of their job search, because again, they are then more driven to seek for more jobs because maybe they tend to feel pressured, and also because social influence itself, in one of the respondents said that she refers to her distant cousins and also a lot through social media to look for internships. So to answer your question, we cannot provide sufficient data to answer that completely, but if it's towards the performance of their job search, it does correlate because it is correlated with their job seeking motivation as well.
Okay, okay. For Diaz, is the answer satisfactory, or do you have any follow-up question? Okay. Any other question from either group 2 or group 3?
Sir, maybe I want to add to the answer for DS.
Okay, sure.
Yes, so actually, out of the 4 respondents, there were 2 who had been accepted in their quote unquote dream job. And just to give context, jobs here refer to internships. And so 2 of our respondents have landed their dream internships and the other 2 haven't. And so I think based on that, we can't really say anything about social influence into the them being accepted to their dream job, because it's actually 50-50% in our case. And yeah, as we said, we need to get a bigger sample size in order to show that.
Okay. Okay, so out of the 4 respondents, 2 of them seek internship and got their dream internship job. Is that correct?
Actually, we didn't put the dream job inside the model. And job seeking motivated is actually they gain extra motivation to look for internships regardless of them being accepted.
Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
So additional information is that the 2 motivated respondent actually got their dream job.
Oh, actually, one of them was unaffected and one of them was motivated. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Is there any question before I ask my question or I give my comments? Okay. Okay, then I'll give my feedback for group 1, and this is for the correction or for improving the case study report that should be submitted at the end of the exam period. Okay, so for the case, this is a very interesting topic. However, I'd like to know who is the action, so the actors, who is the main actors in this case. So for example, the students, the 4 students, they are the actors, but who experienced the managerial dilemma that this case is relevant. Okay, so for example, it might be the actors might be the CDC manager, the career development center manager, whose interest is to get as many students on internship, for example. Another example might be recruitment manager. So if I'm a recruitment manager aiming to get as many internship students to apply to my company, that might be another actor. So my suggestion for group 1 is to identify the role of the management role that is involved in the decision making related with this case. So for example, for a marketing manager, this case might not be interesting. Okay, for a payroll manager, for example, this case might not be interesting. But for a recruitment manager, this might be interesting. For a CDC manager, for example, so you have to get the point of view of the role, the management role that will be interested with this case. And okay, and when you are writing your case, you have to frame it from the perspective of the decision maker. So so it is like you are a managerial consultant and you are reporting this case to a manager on how to attract uh, uh, in terms of management student to apply for internship or to increase their job seeking motivation to for internship program. Okay. Okay. Is that clear for the first my first comment?
Yeah, sir. And actually, I would like to ask. I got uh, uh, an actor in mind. There is a company called Ames, which
Okay.
is a company that gives bootcamp trainings
Okay.
for students to get a job, and the revenue comes from
Okay.
if the student gets that job and salary. And I think
Okay.
our case could be used as a strategy to
Okay.
attract the students to
That,
apply
that,
for
that
them.
is that is a great idea. That's a great idea. So you frame your case from the perspective of that manager, and it will be interesting. So a case can be interesting depending on who are you pitching it for. So if you pitching to the wrong person, it might not be interesting. But if you pitch it right to the right person, it will be very interesting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, the next comment is on. So I have nothing wrong with the theory. It's okay to begin with the theory, but the theoretical framework. Yeah, okay. I think in your case study research, you there's still a remnant of quantitative research. For example, uh, defining the theoretical framework before the findings. That is classical quantitative analysis. If you are doing qualitative, which you are doing, the this framework should be presented at the end of the findings, after the findings. So the the conceptual framework. So this framework should come up as an output of your qualitative research, not as an input. If you put it this way, then if you put it this way at before the findings, then it seems to me that you are saying this is my input. So you are going to test this model, and that is not the case with qualitative research. You never try to test a model or even correlate, because to correlate, okay, you can do qualitative correlation, but it's not like a quantitative correlation. It's but it's like logical pattern classification or something. But my 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 point is that do not try to test a model using qualitative research. So in this case, the framework should be put at the end of the analysis. So after you've done your methodology and so forth, data collection, so forth, research and so forth, then and this is a very good findings. I approve this slide. Then it should be the proposition. So what are your propositions? So you are not testing a hypothesis. You are proposing a hypothesis. That is the way it should be. And in your case research, the theoretical framework should not be put in the case. It should be put in the case analysis, separate from the case. So the case should be free from theory, mainly just data. But then in the case analysis, when you're wrapping up, you are explaining the data, you are explaining the case, then you can give the theoretical or the conceptual framework, but not in the beginning. Because if you put it in the beginning, then the reader will take it as an input for your qualitative research, which doesn't make sense, because uh, 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 qualitative research do not test a model or test a hypothesis. Is that clear?
Yeah. So and actually, the theoretical framework was founded after we analyzed the data,
Okay,
and
that's
we
correct.
just we followed last year's example, and
Okay.
they put it on the I think third
Okay.
third
Okay.
chapter, and we put it there.
Okay. So for I don't know about last year. I think I thought last year case research, but for qualitative. So if you're doing if you're reporting qualitative, you do not put your conceptual framework in the beginning, but always put it at the end, because that should be your output. That should be your contribution for the theory. So you're not testing any model. Okay.
Okay, noted, sir.
Okay, I think that is all for group one. Please give applause for group one. Okay, the next presenter, I'll play the video for group two. Wait a second. I'll close this one first. Okay, this is for group two. I will run the video.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone. This will be our video presentation.
Can you see can you hear the presenter?
The title of our paper will be,
Yes, sir.
is the effects of
Thank you.
internship and soft skills towards university students' academic achievement. And these are the members of our group. We have Yanti, myself, Ezra, Alvin, and Papa. So the first we'll start off with the introduction. So internship programs are widely used to help develop professional aptitude and provide opportunities for students to familiarize with a working environment. For example, as we can see from the picture, this is the internship program offered by CDC Universitas Indonesia from Hana Bank. And this internship program, like many other programs, are used for students to implement the knowledge that they have learned, the knowledge that they have gained from classes into an actual workplace. However, the question that we want to discuss is, do these programs carry on to the students' academic performance and the experiences that they earn, the new knowledge, and so on and so forth? How do these affect students in their academic life? So the question that we would like to answer for this paper is, how do internship programs and the developed soft skills gained from them affect students' academic achievements?
So now we're going to move on to the literature review, where we're going to discuss about the variables that we are using in this research. Okay, so the first variable is internship. So internship programs can be defined as an intensive work experience, usually taken by undergraduates as a critical component in their academic programs. The internship experience is generally recognized for its educational and career-related benefits. And the second variable is soft skills. So Dowd in 2012 stated that soft skills include attitudes and approaches that a person takes into their work, as well as the ability to collaborate with others in a project. And the third variables is internship on soft skills. Well, the research conducted by Septiana in 2016 suggested that the internship is an opportunity to gain and improve the knowledge and skills for students. It is also supported by Wu Washer in 2015, in which the realization of the internship programs, students can train their soft skills. The third variable is time management. Claessens in 2007 stated that time management aims to achieve an effective use of time while performing certain goal-directed activities. It is also stated that since time is a scarce resource and people must make decisions on how to allocate their time. The next variable is problem solving. And problem solving in psychology refers to the process of finding solution to life problems. It is the ability to think creatively, to think outside the box. And according to KIE in 2008, problem solving refers to the ability to come up with workable solutions to different problem solutions. And the sixth variable that we're going to use is communication. Communication is considered a process of exchange of information between sender and receiver to equalize the information on both sides. The process of communication is influenced by several environmental factors, including location, initiator, a power relation, group size, and composition, physical disposition, purpose, and time.
Move on into the next literature review. Self-motivation. Self-motivation is the ability to drive oneself to take initiative and action to pursue goals and complete tasks. Students with high sense of self-motivation have the capacity to accept more challenging tasks, higher abilities to organize their time, increase persistence in the face of obstacles, exhibit lower anxiety to adapt with different educational environments, and thus achieve a great success. Next, working in group. Working with others enable people to pull the ideas and see problems from a different perspective. The organizational structure of the workplace means that teamwork is becoming increasingly important. In a group situation, people can attempt tasks that could not be accomplished by an individual, combining a variety of skills and expertise to tackle more complex and larger scales. Furthermore, group work gives people the chance to learn from each other. And then willingness to learn in order to obtain experience and the knowledge that comes with it, students are expected to possess a high level of willingness to learn. Or willingness to learn is arguably similar to one's motivation to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills. And last is the academic achievement. Academic achievement were not only from simple result of intellectual ability, but also from soft skills, where students can utilize their soft skill in the classroom and use it to the fullest degree so they can achieve a satisfactory performance and achievement.
From the next slide is we will introduce about and explain about research methodology. First one is about research model. The research model shows that we want to explore how internship and soft skills. Soft skills consist of time management, problem solving, communication, self-motivation, working in group, and willingness to learn. Then we explore how soft skills help students toward their academic assignment. And for the qualitative analysis, this research will be using qualitative research methods with the aim of getting a deeper understanding and explanation of the research. Furthermore, using the qualitative research method can of having substantial data that involves an in-depth understanding of human behavior and the reason behind it. So this qualitative research is hope that it will be able to provide comprehensive information, and the resulting data will be able to explore the complexities regarding how landscape can affect the segment by tying the soft skills, which consist of 6 different things. And for sampling plan, the research will apply on probability sampling, which is a sampling technique which is based on the personal suggestion of the researcher rather than the decision to choose random sample. And we choose purposive sampling because it's in this thing we used to choose convenient sampling depending on the judgment or decision of the researcher that the population comprises of things. The participants are dependent on criteria. And we want that the internship experience more than 2 months because we consider timeline, so the respondent can still have time. And the respondent is have willingness to do the interview, so we can explore the answer for each question we focus. The respondent is open to discuss during main activation answer from our first guideline question as we use the semi-structured. And then we find several individual with our question. And for the implementation plan, we are going to simplify the suitable implementation plan is using a semi-structured interview. The researcher will use several questions that have been done for the interview, but the interviewer will be open to topics that are in accordance with the direction of the interview of the interviewee. We use semi-structured interview so the respondent can relate their experience and opinion to our interview. It also provides opportunity for learning. And the interview data will be in the form of recorded video posts during the interview, so we can replay the talk and statement or story of the respondent when you write the script for the interview research and contribute to the case.
Okay, so for the data collection, as it was mentioned before by my friend, that we have conducted a semi-structured interview where we provide an outline question, but we also add some additional questions that are needed during that interview. Okay, next here we have the case study protocol, which is the guideline that we use to conduct the research to ensure that there is a consistency throughout the data collection and analysis. As we can see here, it consists of the main question for each of the variables of the study for the interview. Here on the first variable, we have the internship variable, which consists of more an introductory question, like asking the respondent about do they think that internship program does enhance their soft skill as a student, and what motivation and expectation they have in joining an internship. And then the rest of the variable are the soft skill variables that which are already been discussed in the literature review before, which consists of a question that asks about whether the internship helped them in improving this set of soft skill and thus they think it affects them in enhancing academic achievement. That's pretty much similar, but for the last question is from the academic achievement variable, which mainly asking about the contributing function, which is to ask whether the overall enhanced soft skill that they have gained help them in achieving academic goals. Okay, and then next we're gonna talk about the analysis and discussion from the interview result that we have conducted. And first here we have the respondent data, which we had conducted 3 interviews with 3 different respondents, which are from Faisal Farhan, Jeffrey Aldi, and Sabira Shadani. Where the first respondent, Faisal Farhan, is a 2017 management student who has participated in internship program in Accenture for 3 months. And then the second respondent is Jeffrey Aldi, which is a 2018 management student who has experience in an internship program in Kiskus for 3 months. And the last respondent we have is Sabira Shadani, which is also a 2018 management student who has participated in an internship program in Marcus for almost 1 year. Okay, and here are the results of the discussion and analysis that we have from the data that we had gathered. And the first one regarding about the internship influence on soft skills. So all 3 respondents all agree that the internship program will help them in enhancing soft skills as a student. Although our respondent did say it will be depending on where the internship will take place, but overall they all agree that by joining an internship program could help to improve one's soft skills, especially in terms of communication skills. Where one respondent said that since joining an internship, we will be exposed to communicate with people that are much older. It will be a practical experience to learn how to communicate with the right manners in general. Other than that, advertisement also mentioned that they can gain a lot of learning experience from internships, such as how to write a good report, how to overcome things while working under pressure, and how to be a good leader. And then next, we also have the factors that motivate students in participating in an internship. So most of them, I'm sure that they do it in order to gain working experience, where one respondent said that he took it especially because he felt that companies who open job vacancy nowadays will still expect for fresh graduates to at least have some kind of experience. So because of this, he didn't want to feel left behind, just why he joined an internship. And some of respondents also mentioned they do it for additional pocket money. And one respondent also added that she did it at first because of peer pressure. She and a lot of her friends already taking an internship program. But overall, all of them have mentioned that the main reason as to why they take is because they want to learn and get an insight of how the real life of work are. Yes. And next we have the analysis for the soft skills variable. So the first one is time management skills. So based on the interview, all the respondents agree that an internship does make them manage their time better. They feel that since they were there, it let them think and learn how to divide their time more efficiently in order to manage their work while still keep on track on their studies. All three also agree that time management is indeed essential in the pursuit of academic achievement, where they all believe that it is necessary to allocate our time to study and do assignment effectively as a student. One respondent also especially added that if we can manage our time study efficiently, it will make us able to take our exam easier, thus resulting in a good result.
So for the discussion and the result on the problem solving variable, we found out that 3 respondents agree that their internship helped them to improve their problem solving skill. One of our respondents believed that the internship program helped him think more thoroughly. And 2 of our respondents believe that their decision making ability improved throughout the internship. Furthermore, they also stated that problem-solving skills that they learned during their internship helped them in their academic achievement. And for the communication variable, we found out that 3 respondents agree that their internship helped them improve their communication skills. That includes learning how to communicate in a formal setting, understanding people better, being confident when uttering an opinion, and also writing documents or report. They also stated that this skill is also useful in their learning process on campus, especially when it comes to communicating to the lecturers and composing an essay or report.
So for the next variable is self-motivation. So for this, when asked about this variable, the 3 respondents gave the following responses. So for the first one, concerning whether or not they think self-motivation is important, they all agree that self-motivation, especially in whether it be in an internship environment or in school or wherever, they think that self-motivation is important, so much so that they all consider themselves as goal-driven people. And the second question, their internship programs have helped them develop their motivation. So they all agree that their internship programs have helped them become more motivated, because when they were doing their internship, they would be given certain goals by their supervisors, and this made them more motivated. And lastly, the motivation they gained from each program carried on to their studies. So with the goals that was given by their supervisors, by their superiors during their internship programs, that sort of became a boost of motivation that carried over to how they performed in classes. They became more active, they became more diligent, they read more, and they pay more attention to their lecturers. And so it can be concluded that all 3 respondents regarding the variable of self-motivation, they believe that this is a very important, and the internship programs help develop self-motivation and can be carried over to their classes. For the next working in group variable, the three respondents are agreed that internship positively affected their ability to work in group. The response states that internship really tests their ability to working professionally as an individual and work together as a team. The respondents also note that there are some depending situations that relate with this, such as the existence of the teammates in internship program and the team atmosphere, such as do they want to help each other. This finding would be useful for the further research about more detailed effect of a working in group variable.
The next to analyze is willingness to learn, where an internship program gives students the appropriate stimulus to develop their motivation and ability to learn from their career. Any additional text and defensive for being to practice. Furthermore, this progress is hypothesized to carry on their academic performance even after finishing the internship program, resulting in greater academic achievements. Based on the interview, all of the three respondents agree that internship affected their willingness to learn. First is from Jeffrey that said all of the subjects they studied in campus would be used someday, although would be used in the immediate future. And it differed with what he used to do when at college. It made Jeffrey read more and put more attention when the lecturer gave explanation during class. And second is about curiosity, about things that aren't taught in campus. Faisal said it increased his willingness because he enjoyed to learn something new that were taught at campus after having met people. And the third one is job requirement. Safira said her job required her to learn. She had to learn it as soon as possible, and because of that, she had to have willingness to learn. And for the next thing that we have to analyze is about soft skills influence on academic achievement. And student soft skills influence the academic achievement of a student to a extent, and academic achievements were only called the result as intellectual ability. Students can utilize their soft skills in the classroom and use it to the full degree so they can achieve a satisfactory performance and achievement. Based on the interview, all of the three respondents agree that the soft skills and internship influence their performance in class and academic achievement. Jeffrey and Faisal said that the experience from internship improved their participation and presentation score because they implemented the scoring. And second one is about mindset. Jeffrey also said that his GPA was increased from 3.5 to 3.7, then 3.9 because other than two things that mentioned before, Jeffrey also maintained the same willingness to learn in one environment with the class setting that made him read more books and lecture material and put more attention to the lecture explanation during class. And it also implemented by Safira that because Safira know what was it like to work in marketing, she said her willingness to learn because of the things that he used to work in the past make her to continue to learn after internship. And the third one is apply what they know. Safira said that she could use what she learned during internship in academic setting. And we have arrived at the conclusion. Since our research question is to know how soft skills from internship influence students' academic achievement, the researchers found out that different soft skills influence different things that are included in final score and how the respondents perform on class. First one is time management. Time management helps students to allocate their time for work and individual work. And if students use their time efficiently, it also helps to better understand. Problem solving helps students when faced question or assignment that needed analytical and critical thinking. In the case, the lecturer gives us a critical thinking question, so problem solving is needed to solve that kind of question. And the third skill is communication that helps students to interact with people they need to interact in class setting, such as the lecturer, trainers, and their classmates. Self-motivation helps students to put more effort in study so they can achieve what they want to achieve. And students' experience from internship help them to do those tasks that are often given by the because they have to do well both as a team leader and a team member. And willingness to learn helps students to put more effort like to learn with a team. And the soft skills affect their performance in class and academic achievement because the final score of each subject was are the cumulative from the best effort and best result, which affect what students know and how they do things in real life after the class. I think that's all from our group. Thank you for attention.
Okay, thank you. Okay. That is all. That's for group 2. I have. Okay. Wow. I have lots of question. First is Asila Diandra from group 1. She'd like to ask a question. Can we score the effect of internship program to the subject? And if we could, which variable is most affected by the internship program to the subject in conclusion? Okay. Group 1, have you code for that? Group 2, sorry. Group 2, have you code and perhaps correlate or associate between the internship program with a particular subject? Group 2, sorry. Anyone from group 2? Anyone from group 2?
Yes, sorry, sir.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You want to answer the question from Asila?
I think we didn't really put a score, but most of the respondent did mention a lot more about the communication skill.
Okay.
I think they are most likely to be affected by the communication and social skill more.
Okay. So, is there any particular subject or courses that is affected by the improved communication skills, perhaps written or oral communication? Do you you don't investigate their actual score just by the response of the respondent?
One of the respondents said the communication skill affect his presentation and participant skill on the international business subject, because when he went to the class, he received feedback and knew the teacher that to interact with other older people. The subject had to give feedback and actively asking follow-up question from the teacher's explanation. Because of those things, the respondent got increased in participation skill, also in participation score, and also in presentation score. And also the particular respondent also explained that before joining the internship, the score or the GPA of him is lower than after following the internship. It is because he adapt to manage his time well and put more effort after realizing there are many things in the class setting that can be used in the future, although it won't be used in the immediate future.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So I'm guessing that time management skill might be handy for a lot of different courses, but the communication and presentation skill might be more handy for courses that have a big components from group assignment or group presentation like this one, probably.
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
Next question from Hadijah Husnudini from Group 3. Thank you for your presentation. It was very insightful. I want to ask, your group has stated and explained about the advantages and positive effect of internship toward academic achievement. But by looking at the perspective from academic aspect, especially the FABUE student that need to spend much time for class, study, and assignment, and also their skill to manage their time for work-life balance, is there any negative effect that is caused by doing internship during the respondents' study term as a student, i.e. when they are not in semester break? Okay. I think one question is that do all three of them do their internship during semester break or during semester? And then you can answer this question.
Yes, some of them actually did the internship while they're also taking classes.
Okay, so not in semester break, right?
Yeah, no. Some
Okay.
of them take it while also on semester, but he did say that while doing this the internship program, he have to make a lot of what is it called?
Sacrifice.
More of time management. So he have like he need to know which one is more important for him. So he sacrifice his time more like for socializing with friends and so on. So yeah, so he make they make a priority scale for it.
Okay, but have you tried to analyze the response, perhaps the negatives, the side effect of internship, perhaps suggested by Hadijah, perhaps to the work-life balance or the general well-being of the student?
Okay, sir. I think it happened to one of our respondents because she felt that because it was her first time doing an internship and she had no prior experience before in a professional working environment. So at first she kind of find trouble adjusting. But as time went by, I think she kind of got the hang of it and really adapted to the work-life balance and really know how to prioritize her time.
Okay, thank you. And that is a significant data, and it should shown in your presentation as a potential side effect, for perhaps not all, but at least one respondent, one informants have confessed that they experience difficulties even only at the beginning. So that might indicate a potential side effect, if any, towards work-life balance or well-being. But I can understand how that happened. Okay. But also
I want to add something, sir.
Yes.
It may be bring negative effect at first, but it also useful in the long term because, for the example, if the respondent took more credits in the next term, he already adapted how to manage his time well. So it also can be used to handle more credits for the following semester.
Okay. Yes, that's fine. Okay. Next question is from Hanif from Group 1. He has two questions. First, one of your examples, Safira has 1 year internship experience, and the others have only 3 months. Did this difference in experience affect their soft skill? Does their achievement, is that factor taken observed in this research? So have you tried to compare between Safira and the other two informants, whether they have different performance improvement or not? And the second question is that okay, our research actually crossed path where you pointed out that your respondents were motivated by some factor, one of which is peer pressure. Can you elaborate on that finding? Okay. Yeah, I noticed that also. Okay.
Okay, sir. I think the difference, I think there is no really a difference between Safira and the other two respondents because I believe the other two respondents also had prior experiences. I mean, they had joined other internship programs before. So I think it's the accumulation of experiences in other internship that is also taken into account, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have data or is it just a guess that the other two informants have prior internship experience? Because I don't know how many times can a student take internship program.
Okay, so uh, in the interview, I think they also mentioned their prior experiences in internship before the current one. But on the slide, we only wrote the current company that they're working in, sir.
Okay, okay. So actually, the student is not. This is not for some of the informant. This is not their first internship. That's quite interesting. Because then you have to disclaim. You have to say that perhaps your respondent might not be might perhaps there might be difference between first time internship student or perhaps an experience or a veteran internship as student. So so and also you've mentioned that that one of the student experienced difficulties at the beginning and then recover and get benefit from that total experience. So it's possible that your some of your informants, they have positive effect because because the negative is already passed in their previous one, so they are more experienced, they are in better position to learn from their internship program. So that should be at least a note in your case that perhaps in a different, how do I stages in the internship program, perhaps the beginner internship, the beginner internee, and the experienced internee might have different might experience different effect of the internship program. Okay, do you have anything else to add? For the second one, do you want to elaborate on the peer pressure? I noticed that there's a connection between group 1 and group 2, which is fine.
Well, regarding for the peer pressure, actually the respondent only say that it's because uh, he he felt pressured because a lot of her friend already done a lot of internship programs, so that's why she do it. She joined an internship.
Okay. Okay. Okay, is that all the information you got about the peer pressure? Do you have something else to add?
Yes, unfortunately, that was only
Okay.
only.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's now I'm going to give my comments on the presentation of Group 2. First of all, I think Group 2 experienced similar things for similar. So my first point is similar with the comments on Group 1 that uh, um, there should be a point of view. So, and perhaps because of the similarity of the context about the internship, it's okay if you want to collaborate and you use the same point of view, the same manager, but from two different stream of research. One about their job seeking motivation. The second one is about how internship affect achievement. That's fine. Or if you want to analyze the case using separate point of view, you want to select, for example, the academic manager perhaps, or the so the training managers. So for example, if you want to hire a new undergraduate, a fresh graduate, would you check on their internship experience and so forth? So all of this so this research would be interesting for a recruitment manager or a human resource manager that's interested in hiring a fresh graduate with an internship experience. The second one is also the same. Don't put your research hypothesis, don't you put your theoretical framework in the beginning, but for qualitative, you should put that at the end of the findings. So it's similar with the case study. Don't put any of the theories in the case report, but put it in the case analysis. So in the analysis, when you analyze the phenomenon, then you can use the theory and the framework to explain. But in the case, it should be free from theory in the body of the case. And I also have additional comments for Group 2. First one is, I see that your questions, some of them are yes or no question. For example, does internship influence your achievement? I think I'm sure I'm sure that the actual wording of the question is not that leading, it's not that direct. But even in the reporting, please do not ask direct question, because the direct question can be leading. So it might be perceived as leading the or forcing the informants to answer a yes or no question, and that is not how qualitative research work. It should be open-ended question. So all of the question in the protocol should be open-ended, question that cannot be answered by a simple yes or no. And then the second point is, I think this applies for all three groups, is that be careful on the informant confidentiality. For example, there's a name in your, like Safira. I don't know if Safira is the real name or a pseudonym. I'm hoping that's the pseudonym, but just in case it's not, it's the real name of your informant, please de-identify them, give them aliases. So do not expose the identity of your informants to the public without their consent. It's different if Safira already gave you her consent. She's okay with her name being put in the in the presentation and all. But if you haven't got that statement, if you haven't got that consent, I think the general guideline is to de-identify or to disguise the identity of your informants. The third one is that okay, so for the data, do you use only interview data, or do you have other source of data or types of data that you analyze?
For the theory is from literature, but for the data in the research, we only from the interview, sir.
Okay, so okay, that's fine. But for a better quality or for a better insight, it's the suggested approach is to use triangulation. I think group 1 already explained triangulation, multiple sources, multiple types of data. For example, you can also use perhaps their I don't know, you can ask for their transcript, perhaps, if they're willing to give you their transcript, just to check, because sometimes we cannot simply accept the content of the interview without verifying. Sometimes, okay, the informant said that internship improved their achievement. Have you checked on their GPA, or is it okay? Would they be okay to give you their GPA just in case to check whether what they say correspond to the real to the reality? Because that, I think, in qualitative research, we have to be a bit, how do I say it, a bit skeptical. It's not cynical, but skeptical. So we have to be careful and not take don't be too naive when we are asking questions or when we are interpreting the data. Always check, if possible, with other people or with documented data, to see if what being said by the informant is accurate. Because sometimes people can be forgetful, or they can have they can attempt to maintain a particular image of themselves. Okay, but do not overstep the consent. So if they don't want to give you their transcript, you can't force them to show you the transcript. But if you can, it will be better as a supporting proof in increasing the how do I say it, the credibility of your findings. So rather than simply says respondent A claims that this increases that, you can show the reader that this is the proof by comparing perhaps the GPA or the transcript of the respondent, and showing, but with the identified document, of course, showing that the proof suggests that internship do improve academic achievement. Okay, I think that is all for my comment. Is there any question for group 2? Do you want to ask me?
Okay. Other than GPA, is there any other triangulation that we can do?
Okay, so okay, I know GPA is a bit sensitive. Perhaps you can ask them about their internship report. They have to submit a report, right? Their internship report, right? So perhaps you can correlate, you can cross-check their interview with their internship report. In the report, they will have to disclose what they did. For example, I don't know how perhaps if someone is in the internship is doing photocopying all the time, I don't think that will help the academic achievement. So perhaps by looking at the internship report, you can triangulate with what is in the interview and corroborate the statement of the informants if you cannot get the GPA. Okay. Okay, I think that is all for group 2. Please give applause for group 2. Okay, my next the next one will be group 3. Let me begin the presentation. Okay, let me wait a second. Okay. Okay. Can you see the slide, the video?
Yes, sir.
Hello, good
Okay, that's good.
afternoon, Mr. Imam and fellow RSK friends. Today we're going to present our research paper, which is titled The Adoption of Social Media as a Distribution Channel in Tourism Marketing, a case study of online travel agency Traveloka in Indonesia. Let me introduce myself. My name is Diaz, and today I will be joined by my friends Aina, Hadijah, Martin, Putih, and Teresa. Next. Okay, this is the content of our presentation today, which is our research proposal. This is basically what we did before the midterm exam, our social media analysis of Traveloka, our interview analysis, and our closing. Next. Okay, the first that we're going to explain is our research proposal. So basically the background of why we choose this topic is because, as you might know, it has been quite a year since the COVID-19 cases was confirmed in Indonesia. Since then, the pandemic has grown to be more of an economic crisis rather than a health crisis due to the large-scale social restrictions or PSBB policy. And among other sectors, the tourism sector was the most impacted by the pandemic because with the PSBB, no one is allowed to travel and no one is allowed to leave their homes, basically. And then, as we know, that recently we have been, the vaccines have been starting to be distributed, and travel restrictions started to be lifted. And therefore, people are traveling more, especially due to the Work from Bali campaign from the government. And because people are traveling more, the people are looking into online travel agencies, one of them being Traveloka. And in order to promote the tourism sector to be back to pre-pandemic levels, social media is one of the most important aspects of it. Social media is not only an effective tool to promote the services provided in the tourism sector, it can also be a way to give customers the best and easiest experience when customers are planning to do tourism activities. And it can also be very reassuring for the customers to check the OTA's social media and find healthcare and safety protocols communicated well there, so that they are more sure when they are booking their travel, and also they are doing tourism activities. Next. Okay, so for the literature review, we are going to touch upon 4 aspects, which is social media, distribution channels, tourism marketing, and also online travel agency. Social media is basically a group of internet-based application that built on the ideological and technological foundations of the Web 2.0 that allow the creation and exchange of user-generated contents.
So for the purpose of tourism application, one could also take advantage of data sets provided by social media, such as geolocation for geotag photos. As for distribution channels, it is basically, so as technology is rapidly growing, the number of internet and social media users are also increasing fast. It can give benefits to marketers by discovering many new potential strategies of digital distribution channels. The use of digital distribution channels to promote product could be as a central reservation system, property management system, connectivity to global distribution system, etc. So there are also tools such as revenue management tools and content management system that can help tourism attractions to promote their products and also their services through social media. And we will touch on upon tourism marketing, which is basically customer focused that permeates the organizational functions and processes that is geared toward making promises through the value proposition, enabling the fulfillment of individual expectations created by such promises and fulfilling such expectations through the support of customers' value generating process. As for online travel agency, it is basically an application that can be accessed easily through smartphone, and they're focusing on the satisfaction of the consumers when using the app. So basically, the convenience and sophistications of online travel agency has made this kind of application expand quickly worldwide, and also that also happens in Indonesia with online travel agency players such as Traveloka and Tiket.com, Booking.com, and other online travel agencies. However, for this research, we're going to be focusing on Traveloka. Next. Okay, so basically, our case approach is using a case study, which is an investigation of contemporary and empirical phenomenon and real-life context, while our case selection is based on purpose of our research, which is to understand how travel agencies in Indonesia make use of social media as their distribution channel and marketing tool. Next.
Okay, for the unit analysis, the research used the snowball sampling method, where researchers choose for FEB with students batch 2017 until 2020. We have used online tourism agencies as samples for this research, which is Traveloka. And for the instrument, researchers and samples can meet in a person during this COVID-19 pandemic. So the best instrument that can be used is a video call platform using Google Meet. The researchers also use instant messaging platform to contact the interviewee for asking their willingness to be interviewed and setting interview schedule. Next. And for the data collection, we use primary data and secondary data. For the primary data, we get the data from through interview, and for the secondary data, we get the data from online travel agency social media, which is Instagram, to see the engagement rate of the promotional post. And we're going to do in-depth interview, which begin with general questions of the interviewee's overall attitude towards social media, also online shopping, and followed by questions relating to online travel agents and their experience using it. And for the questions, we use semi-structured questions, which the researcher will provide an outline and questions for the interview, but there will be additional questions that needed during the interview. Next. So for the data analysis method, first we will determine the questions that will be used in that interview. The questions are based on 4 of the variables, which are social media, distribution channel, tourism marketing, and outline travel agency. Next, we will conduct the in-depth interview, and we will check on the output of the interview. Then we will analyze the result of interview, and lastly, we will the coded answers will be developed into some arguments based on the framework. Next.
Okay, and the next is reliability, validity, and objectivity. The first here is validity, which refers to the selection of respondent in order to ensure the validity of the result. We chose Digital Savvy Enterprise Concept Sample, which is FDUI students batch 2017 until 2020. Next is reliability. We use the documentation of research and implement multiple sources of information like secondary data from the internet in order to ensure the reliability of the research. And the last is conformity. We will monitor the output of the interview and then rate the output which has been processed into a trend. Next slide.
Next is proposal conclusion. So overall, the research is conducted by using a case study approach, where the case selection is based on the purpose of the research study. This research uses a snowball sampling method to choose samples, where students of FEB-UI batch 2017 till 2020 are chosen as samples in order to ensure the validity of the data. For data collection, the researchers use primary data by conducting semi-conducted interviews to interviewee through video conferencing platforms such as Google Meet or Zoom. For the reliability of the researchers use documentation of interviews between the researchers and samples that result in valuable insight from consumers' experience, but it is not representative of the targeted population, because the objective of this research is to provide insight into consumer travel behavior. Next slide.
For the social media analysis, next slide, please. Okay, so for the Traveloka Instagram analysis during the pandemic, our group has analyzed Traveloka's Instagram, which is one of the Traveloka's promotional tools, where our analysis was carried out on Traveloka's post during the pandemic period starting from 13 March 2020 until June. We classify 329 posts into 3 categories, which consist of 233 informational posts, 83 promotional posts, and 13 other posts, where the informational category here referring to tourist attraction information posts, business information, events information, socialization, and so on. And then for the promotional category, refer to campaign posts, creative promotion posts, information, feature information, and managerial information. And then for the last category, other category, refer to condolence posts and holiday greetings. So on average, as we can see in the table, Traveloka gets an average of 4,782 likes on its information category posts, 148,574 video views, and 405 comments. And then for the promotions category posts, Traveloka gets an average of 5,037 likes, 124,341 views on video, and 369 comments. The other category, Traveloka gets an average of 3,429 likes, 19,557 video views, and 150 comments. And for the maximum section on information posts, Traveloka has received the highest likes of 118,880 likes, and then 1,174,082 video views, and 6,894 comments. And then at the promotion post, Traveloka has received highest likes of 112,420 likes, and then 1,069,910 video views, and 2,598 comments. And then for the other category, Traveloka has received the highest likes of 12,742 likes, 23,800 and 15 video views, and 385 comments. And then for the last section is minimum section. For the information post, Traveloka has received the lowest likes of 385 and 95 likes for the information post, 554 video views, and 27 comments. And then for the promotion post, Traveloka got the lowest like with 376 likes, 13,662 video views, and 38 comments. And at the others category, Traveloka got the lowest like with 468 likes, 15,322 video views, and 43 comments. And for the next table is the engagement rate, where the number in this table are obtained from the data in the previous table divided with Traveloka's Instagram followers. As we can see here, we can conclude that the engagement rate statistics shows that information posts yield the highest engagement rate among the three in terms of views and comments, with the exception of like the promotions yields the highest rate of 0.69%. Slide, please. Next will be continued by my friend.
Okay, so after getting the data for the statistics from Traveloka's Instagram, we compare it to the benchmark, which is obtained from Social Blade. Social Blade is a website where we can view social media statistics for brands and also influencers. So when we compare the engagement rate, both like and views yield higher rates, while comments yield much lower rates compared to the engagement rate. That is in the social media, in the Social Blade benchmark. So even though not all aspects yield a higher engagement rate compared to the benchmark, an average all three categories, which is informational, promotional, and other posts, yield a much higher rate than compared to the benchmark. And the average number of likes across all three categories are also higher than the benchmark, while only information and promotion beat the benchmark for average comments, while the other posts have a lower average comment than the benchmark. So the much higher engagement rate is probably due to the steady increase in the amount of Traveloka's Instagram followers throughout 2020 and 2021. So we can see here when we compare to May 2020, Traveloka now has 23.36% more followers, which is about 150,000 increase. So with more followers, there is a higher chance that people will engage with Traveloka's social media posts. So in conclusion, most of Traveloka's Instagram posts consist of informational posts, which leads to it yielding better statistics in terms of average number of views and comments, as well as the best average engagement rate. With more posts, there is a higher chance of posts doing well. However, promotional posts still yield the best result in terms of likes, as most of the promotional activities of Traveloka, such as giveaway or contest, require the like in order to be eligible to enter. So to yield better social media statistics, Traveloka should do more promotional posts such as campaigns and creative promotions in order to get a chance of getting better engagement. Next.
Okay, the next section is user interview analysis. First, I want to explain about the respondent profile. So in this research, we interviewed 4 FEB UI students in a total, and the respondent is divided by some categories such as age, gender, and batch. As we see in this diagram, the first category is age. Our respondents is consist by 50% under 20 years respondents and 50% above 20 years respondents. And the second category is gender. Our respondents is consist by 50% female respondents and 50% male respondents. And the last category is batch. We interviewed one people from its batch from batch 2017 until 2020. Okay, the next one is about the previous one. Okay, so here are the mind map of our interview results, which I think it cannot be seen. Okay, the next one. So I'm gonna explain more about the perspective of FWP UE students about experience in using Traveloka. Based on the interview that we have conducted with respondents, we managed to find out the respondents' experience while using Traveloka, which in average they started using from between 2 until 3 years ago. So here's a table which contains an interview summary about respondents' experience. From the table, we knew that the majority of the respondents stated that they are satisfied and have never had a bad experience when using Traveloka, although they usually use the application to book tickets for other people, such as family and friends. Mostly, the respondents use Traveloka to book plane tickets, trains, accommodation, and local attractions. In addition, the special aspects that Traveloka has, namely providing recommendations for tourist attractions, having various promotions, and having price bundling are not enough to make respondents feel dependent on the Traveloka application. As stated by one of the respondents, she said that she could feel a feeling of control towards herself when using Traveloka. Next. Amid a pandemic like this, the respondents admit that they currently use Traveloka due to the spread of the COVID-19 virus, which makes people spend more time at home and reduce their activities of traveling outside the house, especially if it's just only for a vacation. Although currently, Traveloka provides information regarding what to prepare for traveling during the pandemic. However, most of the respondents we interviewed prefer to postpone their vacation until circumstances become more stable and because they are quite afraid of being exposed of the COVID-19 virus. Next.
Okay, so for the next discussion, the next topic that we will discuss is the perspective of FIBW students about willingness to pay in using Traveloka. So these are the tables of the research summary that we have conducted about the willingness to pay of customer. So based on the research summary above, we can conclude that Traveloka, as one of the oldest and the biggest online travel agencies in Indonesia, has been at top of mind among the other online travel agencies. Respondents prefer to use Traveloka to fulfill their traveling needs instead of the other online travel agencies, as it enables them to book accommodation and also transportation. And one of our respondents even thinks that Traveloka is such a perfect online travel agency since it provides many special features. Next, please. Okay, so as one of its competitive advantages among the other online travel agencies, Traveloka has many special features that please their customers. Traveloka also informs about their special features effectively so that our respondents show that they know well about Traveloka's features. Some of the special features that have been known and or used by our respondents are pay deals, top up, previous slide please. Oh yeah. Pay deals, top up, Traveloka Eats, bundling features, and swap test. So pay deals is when they provide discounts in several period of time, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at a certain days, and also there also Traveloka Eats and bundling features and swap test, which customers can use if they want to go traveling. And those innovative yet beneficial features are also supported by how Traveloka maintains to manage its features quality. Especially in this pandemic era, so far Traveloka has proven to maintain its concern about health procedures while traveling in this pandemic era. These adaptations during this pandemic situation need to be maintained since the majority of our respondents say that they still go traveling during pandemic if there is an urgent matter. Next, please. So besides maintaining the quality of services, an effective marketing strategy also plays an important role in the sustainability of online travel agencies. Research that has been conducted says that Traveloka's customers are satisfied with how Traveloka delivers its value towards marketing strategy using social media. Advertisements that came from their social media are informative and interesting, as said by my fellow group before, and they choose the key opinion leaders that have been proven that have a good quality, so that they can deliver the message effectively and customers can trust the information that is stated by the key opinion leader or social media influencers. And these huge opportunities in social media can be used to optimize the exposure of Traveloka's promotions. And many of customers also say that they are interested in using Traveloka's promotions, but they didn't know how to use the promotions. So using the social media, they can inform about the details of the promotions, and it can be an effective way to optimize Traveloka's campaigns and also their promotion performance. Next. Okay, so aside from Traveloka's lack in delivering its promotion details, there are some promotions that customers can use easily. These promotions are applied discounts that automatically appear in some products during several periods of time. Especially during pandemic, this type of promotion could make customers willing to go traveling since they know that the trip that they use Traveloka maintain its pandemic health procedure, and also they have the cheapest price among the other online travel agencies. And if Traveloka could maintain its price competitiveness and also provide the cheapest price among all the online travel agencies, Traveloka can keep being the top of mind in the online travel agency industry. Next.
Okay, the next is the negative effect in using Traveloka. Based on our interviews that we conduct, we got information about the negative effect of using Traveloka. The negative effect is only felt by one of our respondents. So here is a table with respondents interview summary about negative effect. Based on the table above, our respondent had a terrible experience using Traveloka. Someday, a respondent booked airline tickets for family holiday to Singapore, but our respondent were not aware tickets do not include baggage fee. So because of that, a respondent must pay around 1.7 million rupiah. But from this terrible experience, our respondent still use Traveloka because our respondent thinks this terrible experience might happen since our respondent didn't read terms and conditions carefully. So our respondent is a loyal customer of Traveloka because our respondent feels addicted to using Traveloka. So here's a negative effect in using Traveloka because sometimes our respondent seems biased to Traveloka than other OTAs.
So the last topic we examine in this study is the perspective of BPI students about expectation in using Traveloka. This is the summary of the interview regarding the topic. And as written at the table, respondents in the study have seen Traveloka advertisement from various media platforms such as social media and television. They also now find out about Traveloka from advertisement endorsed by influencer. And all the respondents also familiar with Traveloka basic and expanded features. And the expanded features that respondents frequently mention are paid deals, Traveloka Eats, and bundling features. Next. So respondents' awareness of Traveloka enforced by several reasons. First, Traveloka respondent is satisfied with Traveloka advertisement, which are interesting, informative, thoughtful, yet not boring, and is not irritating. But one of the respondents stated that Traveloka should be more informative about traveling tips, such as preparations in their advertisement. Second, our respondents also satisfied with Traveloka applications, which has a good user interface that gives respondents an easy access and gives complete options to consumer. And one of the respondents satisfied with Traveloka unique features, such as Traveloka Eats, Pay Letters, and amusement park ticket booking. Our respondents also satisfied with Traveloka regarding this pandemic situation, which Traveloka pay a good attention regarding pandemic health protocols, and they think Traveloka should maintain the quality on applying pandemic health protocols. Next.
Okay, so to close the discussion about our research, next please. We can conclude that from our research that the respondents in this study have known about Traveloka from advertisement in social media and also television. The respondents are also familiar with Traveloka basic and expanded features. Some of them using it quite often. And their familiarity with Traveloka features are enforced by two reasons. The first one is the Traveloka advertisements are interesting and informative and also not irritating. They have very interesting content, and this backed by the social media evidence from Traveloka's Instagram as informational posts yield better views and also comments. And meanwhile, informational contents yield better statistics in terms of likes. And the second reason is that the respondents were also satisfied with Traveloka application because of their user interface and features that they provide a friendly interface, and also they provide many special features that can ease the customer. And Traveloka's best aspects, such as the ease of using Traveloka with its various features and a user-friendly interface, even for new users, and providing recommendations for tourist attractions, having various promos, and having price bundling have given the customer such a good experience in using them. Customers willing to pay on Traveloka depends on the preferences, features, and also bonus or promotions. Traveloka so far has been at top of mind in the online travel agency industry, especially in Indonesia, since they provide many special features for customers. And advertisement that Traveloka provides on social media are interesting and informative, and Traveloka also provides easy-to-use promotions such as applied discounts on their platform. And the negative effect of using Traveloka is that sometimes it seems biased to Traveloka, and when someone seems biased to Traveloka, they will still use Traveloka even though they had a terrible experience when using Traveloka because they are the loyal customers of Traveloka already. Next, please.
Okay, based on our analysis, here are some recommendations for Traveloka. The first one is Traveloka should consider its price competitiveness among the other online travel agencies. The Traveloka should inform briefly about their promotions. Traveloka should maintain its concerns about health procedures, especially during pandemic. Traveloka should increase the exposure of their promotion. Traveloka should be more aware whether its feature matches well with the use of Traveloka at the first place. Traveloka should give more information about their features, especially the newest. Traveloka should provide more interesting promos in pandemic situation. Traveloka should give more information and tips regarding to traveling during pandemic. Traveloka should give more information about the destination, and the last recommendation is Traveloka should conduct more ads nowadays. Okay, here is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Okay. That is the third group presentation. Before I give my own comments, is there any question from group 1 and group 2? You may ask the question directly or send it through the chat. Any question? Okay. One question for the first question from Hanif. He'd like to ask, what was your criteria in selecting your respondent? Did you require a certain criteria like following Travelocast Instagram or something? Okay, so what's the criteria for the snowball sampling for the respondents? Group 3?
Okay, I would like to answer Hanif's question. So first of all, thank you, Hanif, for the question. So our criteria for choosing the respondents for the snowball sampling is basically one per batch of FEBOE students. So there's one from 2020, 2019, 2018, and also 2017, which is the current 4 batches that is in FEBOE, and also the users of Traveloka. So we don't use following Traveloka's Instagram as a criteria for the respondents. However, we also asked about the promotional campaigns for Traveloka, and some of the respondents actually check on Traveloka's Instagram during the interview. So that is the link between the respondents and the Instagram. And also to add on that, we use the social media data as a supplement in order to further see how Traveloka's promotional activities is perceived in a wider audience, because of our audience is only FEBOE students. So I think that I hope that answers. Thank you.
Okay. So at least they have to use Traveloka apps in their mobile phone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question? Other question for group 3 from group 2? I will have one question from group 1 now. At least one question from group 2. Any question? Okay. While we're waiting for group 2, I'll give my comment first then. First of all, good job on the combining both the interview and social media data. However, there's a slight disconnect between the social media analysis and the interview. So you need to focus more on how do they connect in terms of. So you have the promotion, informational, promotional, and other type of post, and there's a good you've made a good case in the background of the pandemic, and also how Traveloka branch out their services or their feature out beyond the traditional travel agency services. And then you've shown this one, the information, promotion, and others. This is good. However, social media analysis is not just about the average, maximum, and minimum, but it's also about the fine grain, the fine details of the type of post. This is okay, but I'd expect that you code the post to a much a deeper level. For example, what type of informational post get the most like? For example, is it information about destination, information about pandemic, about health protocol. So if you can code the informational post to different types of information, then you can see the different rate of engagement, or different social media engagement with for different types of post, and also perhaps correlate with the different features. So if you can analyze the social media to, for example, to classify the post, whether it's about the traditional travel agency information or promotion, or is it whether it's about the non-traditional, about the expanded feature like swab test, eats, and pay deals and all. That's actually beyond the scope of traditional travel agency. That would tie your social media analysis and your interview result much better. So in this case, this is okay, but to make it better, you have to code the post to a better detail, not just information, promotion, and others, but also about whether uh, what what is the information now is talking about, or whether it's related with the traditional scope of Traveloka services, the traditional service like destinations, hotels, and so forth, and or whether it is beyond the traditional scope like health related information, or health services like swab and etc. Okay, so yeah, so for example, is there any pandemic informational on Instagram? Does Traveloka post information on the corona pandemic, and how does their follower engage with those type of informational that can be sort of associated with your interview result, especially on the behavior or the use of Traveloka after the pandemic. And I think it's a very interesting case because I think Traveloka is one of the digital startup that was badly hit with by the pandemic. So most digital startup survived or uh, did not get impacted much by the pandemic. Even they even get a boost from the pandemic. Most the digital startup gets a boost from the pandemic. However, Traveloka is situated at a very interesting position where it is it's digital, but it's also related with travel, which is severely impacted by the pandemic. So I think it's very interesting to see how the user, how Traveloka adapt to the pandemic by giving additional related but expanded services, and how the user reacts to those adaptation. Okay, is there any other question that you'd like to ask me, or you'd like to ask group 3?
Hi, sir. Before that,
Okay.
can I answer your concerns
Yes.
first? So basically, thank you for your input. We actually have already do this. We
Okay.
use an Excel sheet.
Okay, very good.
Do you want to me to share screen the Excel sheet?
Yes, that'd be great. I'll stop
Okay.
share now.
Hold on.
Okay.
Wait.
You should definitely put that information, that data in the case. This will be
I
very
see.
interesting.
I see. Okay, so this is basically the Excel sheet. So we
Okay.
actually use the description, which
Okay.
is basically essentially what
Okay.
the post is all about.
Hmm.
All 329
Okay.
since the 17th of March 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And
Okay.
then we categorize it this is the categories basically, and then we group it into the information, promotions, and others.
Okay.
So we figure out that this is like how to summarize it better.
Yeah.
However, after hearing your input, would it be better if we just use the category instead of like grouping it
Yeah.
further?
I think that that would make more detailed information than simply information, promotion, and others. So using the category will have better insight. Okay, but you need to also relate that insight with your interview
I
So
see.
both the interview and the social media data has to be related somehow, perhaps at the types of services or types of information, types of discount that is being offered. So, for example, is there any mention on so one of the description, and does the any of the respondent mention any campaign or any particular destination, for example, that might be of, I think what I've noticed a pay later description, so perhaps that can be further classified as an expanded pay later. That can be this can be further categorized as an extended feature. So I think rather than information or promotion, it's better to categorize recategorize the group into whether the traditional feature, traditional travel agency feature, and the expanded services. So I'd like to know whether is there any differences or is there any pattern in how the Traveloka followers engage with posts about the traditional Traveloka information like travel and so forth, or with the expanded service like pay later or health information and so forth.
Okay, noted, sir. So the
Okay.
categorization should be traditional features and expanded
Okay.
features of Traveloka.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and others. Some posts might not be categorized as into either the traditional feature or the expanded features.
Okay. So instead of information, promotion, and others, it's
Yeah.
traditional feature, expanded feature, and
Yes.
others.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, noted, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any question from group 2? Okay. If not, then let's give applause to group 3 for their wonderful presentation. Okay. Thank you very much for all the questionnaire. And to summarize, so in the case study research, our purpose in making the case study is to create a learning experience from the qualitative research, from the qualitative data that we have collected and extracted the insight, and also constructed an instrument for conveying that learning experience. So the case study is actually different from like thesis or journal articles. So case studies are not the same with journal articles, because they are constructed from research findings, but they are not the findings per se, but they are how the case writer wants the reader to learn. Okay, so it's like you are not only giving the information but designing how you'd like the reader to process that information, and that's what makes case studies are instruction of a very instructional. So in a lots, I think I'm sure in previous courses you've had to do case study analysis, but now in this course you have learned how to make a case study that can be analyzed by other people, and that comes from real qualitative research. So similar uh, similar activities should also be done in doing your internship program for the bachelor final project. So if you are doing magang as a final project, how you write your internship report should also use the principle that's already been taught in this course about qualitative research, about triangulation, about credibility, how to make your findings credible by corroborating your findings with from multiple sources, multiple data types, and so forth. Okay, and then construct a learning experience from that findings. So hopefully the feedback from today will help you in finalizing your case study report. So this is the case study presentation. For the case study report, the deadline will be the last day of exam. So when is the last day of exam? Any information? Let me check on the SIAC NG first. Let me check.
The last day of exam is on the 26th of June, sir.
Okay, very well. So 26th of June. So I expect the case study report to be submitted to me through my email, but also to the assistant, because the assistant job is to collect all of the case studies from all the classes, different classes. So please send it to me and also to the assistant. Your case study by, I think, by 4 p.m. 26th of June, right? Is that correct? But let me check. Yes, 26th of June, 4 p.m. That is, let me check. 26th of June, that's Saturday. Wow. Okay, Saturday. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. So Saturday, 26th of June. Wow, it's 1 week from now. Or no. It's like 12 days from now. Okay, I think that should be enough time for you to finalize your case study report. Okay, is there any question that you like to ask before I close the final session? Any question? Okay, any question?
Sir, I have a question.
Sure.
I think there is two types of formats for the final report in the drive that our assistant gave us. What is the preferred
Okay, use
format?
the newest one. I think the template from last year was I forgot whether it's last year or 2 years 2 years ago, but the previous templates was considered to be too complicated or something, so they simplify. I think the lecturer team simplified the template, so use the newer one.
Okay, so the newer one is the Nonic one. If
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Hopefully you'll do great. There will be no exam. There will be no final exam. Only your case study report. So I hope you do well in doing in finalizing that report. And thank you for everything for the past half semester. And I'd like to apologize for any mistake in what I've done or I've said during the last half semester. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll meet on other, I don't know, I think might be not, but hopefully we'll meet in other opportunities, perhaps if you do a master or something. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.